Well, welcome to Ristorante Da Giovannino, and we're going to see the culinary skills of Martina today. And it was her grandmother, Aurora, who cooked our wedding lunch in the kitchen, which was back there in 1978. And we served 50 people here. They were seated in 2 tables. And at the end of the wedding lunch, sitting on one of the tables was somebody playing the accordion so everyone could dance. So the culinary skills of Ristorante Da Giovannino have always been part of our life here on the land in Umbria. Now we're going to see Martina at work in the kitchen. The kitchen is no longer back here. They've enlarged the restaurant. It's over this way. Let's go. We're in the kitchen where all the goodness comes for people eating at Ristorante Da Giovannino. And Martina is making a special dish requested for a family baptism coming up, 40 guests. And she is going to cook these purple potatoes grown locally. We call this Chilometro Zero. Look at that potato. And they're grown at Colfiorito, an area near us, actually famous for its potato cultivation. And they're going to be cooked in water. First, the potatoes will be put in cold water, brought to a boil and then simmered. And she's going to put in what we call sale grosso, the big rock salt. How much? QB. That's the word to remember in Italian cooking. Quanto basta. Whatever it takes. Okay, the potatoes are going in now into a huge pot of water, cold water. Then they'll be brought to a boil. This dish is called cappellacci alle patate rosse, patate viola, and a cappellacci means a big hat. This is kind of a large tortellini, which we're going to see her making. And it will be stuffed with the potatoes, and then she's going to make this sort of sauce. It sounds very tasty. Butter seasoned with thyme, and then guanciale, which is pork cheek, browned in it till crispy. And here goes the amount of salt. It's about 2 fistfuls.
1,5.
1.5. And she can add more salt later if necessary. So we don't want to exaggerate.
Una cosa importante è che l'acqua deve ricoprire le patate.
What is important, have a look, is that the water must cover the potatoes.
Altrimenti non cuociono in maniera omogenea.
Otherwise, the potatoes will not cook in a homogeneous way. Some will be more cooked, some undercooked.
Adesso dobbiamo aspettare 40 minuti per la cottura e poi andiamo a preparare il ripieno.
Okay, we're going to wait about 40 minutes for the potatoes to cook, and then we're going to see Martina work at the ripieno, which means the filling or the stuffing. You know, the Italian word for full is pieno. Ripieno is what fills something up. Grazie, Martina.
You're welcome.
Now, Martina has boiled the potatoes. Those purple potatoes.
Quando riesco a infilzare la forchetta sono pronte.
And when she can perforate them with a fork, they're ready. So she knows they're ready, out they come. And they're not peeled. Sono già sbucciate?
No?
No, they're not peeled. Okay.
Ok, adesso andiamo a schiacciarle.
And you can squash them con la buccia?
Sì, guarda come faccio. Praticamente prendo lo schiacciapatate, le taglio a metà.
She's got a potato squasher. She's cutting them in half.
Non so, così
Isn't
con la
that a
buccia
handy
rivolta
gadget?
verso l'altro,
Yeah.
per far prima.
She said it's important to have the peel facing up, and this is going to, make it easier and quicker to squash these wonderful. Look at this wonderful color of these purple potatoes. Absolutely divine. Martina, is the flavor of this a bit different from the white potato, the russet potato?
Ma il gusto principalmente è quasi lo stesso, sono leggermente più delicate, ma più che altro è una questione estetica del colore.
So she's saying the flavor is quite similar. It's more a question of the aesthetics, the lovely purple color.
They are beautiful.
Do they cost about the same per kilo, or are they more costly?
More costly.
More costly. Something special, you pay more. Okay.
Adesso andiamo a preparare ad aggiungere gli ingredienti per il ripieno.
Now she's going to add the ingredients which
Parmigiano.
she needs for the filling.
Io faccio,
Freshly grated parmigiano.
io faccio tutto molto a occhio, più che altro mi affido al mio gusto.
Okay, she says I do everything by eye. I trust my nose more than my eye. Well, the smell is delightful.
Allora, parmigiano,
Parmesan, burro, butter, all'occhio,
all'occhio,
cubi,
pepe
pepper, cubi. Oh, is this divine?
e sale.
And here comes the salt. And this time it's fine salt.
Fino,
No,
sì.
this is
Sì.
non grosso. And they've got a phone call. Maybe someone's booking a lunch or dinner here.
Ok,
Okay.
adesso andiamo a girare.
But she doesn't need to answer the phone because they'll be handling that at the coffee bar where her parents are working. Now she's using a lot of muscle work here. And squashing. There's
Sono
something,
calde, eh?
there's something therapeutic about this, Martina. Terapia questo.
Sì.
L'aggressione.
Rilassa?
It relaxes. I said you can get your aggression out with the potatoes. She said it's very relaxing. Martina, did you invent this recipe?
Yeah.
Oh. She's a creative cook. How long have you been working here cooking, Martina?
I work here da quando sono nata.
Since you were born.
But in the kitchen is maybe 6 years.
6 years. You've been
Yeah.
the primary cook.
Yeah.
Now your mother is your assistant. Before you
Yes,
assisted
no.
your mother. No.
We are at the same.
At the same level.
Yeah.
But you helped your mother before then.
Adesso mamma fa la babysitter.
She said her mother is the babysitter now because she's got an adorable little boy, Jacopo. And so Martina's mother, Serenella, Mauro's wife, divides her time between serving guests at the coffee bar, assisting in the kitchen, handling the grocery store, and sometimes babysitting.
Allora,
Oh.
quando il burro è sciolto,
When the,
andiamo,
when the butter's melted,
andiamo a assaggiare per vedere se dobbiamo aggiungere qualche ingrediente.
now she's testing it.
Più
Salt,
sale.
I wonder.
Mhm.
A little bit more salt.
E parmesan.
And a little bit more Parmesan. But you have to be careful because the Parmesan's salty.
Yeah, but
Pardon me.
lo so che costa, però deve essere anche buono, quindi.
Parmesan is costly, but the dish has to be delicious. Quanto viene adesso a chilo Parmigiano?
Dovrebbe venire intorno ai 14-15 euro al chilo.
About 14-15 euro per kilo for good Parmesan.
Poi eventualmente se il ripieno risulta troppo duro si può aggiungere un po' di panna, però in questo caso è morbido.
She said if my filling were a bit too stiff, I would add a bit of cream, but it's the right consistency, so I'm not adding any cream. Perfect. Perfetto. Buono. No. Buonissimo. Okay. Now we have Nonna Rosella here, and she's been making pasta for 70 years about, since she was about 9 years old, without exactly saying age. And she's going to roll out the pasta, which she's made with 30 eggs. Look at the nice yellow, good yolk she used. And for 30 eggs, how much flour, Martina, was that?
900 grammi di farina.
Every egg, 100 grams of flour, so we have 3 kilos of flour.
Sì.
Hey, 3 kilos of flour, multiply times 2.2, and that'll tell you how many pounds. Look at the muscles in Signora Rosella. She grew up in an extended family, all the family in the house together. eating together, and she was cooking for sometimes 22 people. They all live together. Okay. Okay, now she's going to roll, and it's rolling with the wrists. Always, the power is right here.
No, ti voleva dire che ha preso un impasto piccolino, di solito lo fa più grande. Però per fare
She says for a demonstration, she's going to just do a small little sfoglia here, the rolling out of the dough. Usually she'd be making one which is much huger and would fill the whole board. So she's doing a small one here as a demonstration for us. And again, the pressure is really coming from the lower part of the hands, lower part of the palm. Sometimes the women are using their wrists. She might be altering. And then she's wrapping it around, smoothing it out. The unforgettable grandmothers. 79 years old and not feeling it. She's often here cooking. She makes all the homemade pasta that you serve. And there's nothing like the homemade tagliatelle with meat sauce here at Giovannino's, made by Signora Rosella. Ma non si stanca mai?
No.
Rosè?
No,
Perché no?
perché sono abituata da piccola io.
Don't you ever get tired? No. I said, why not? She said, I've been doing this since I was a little girl. You know the Italians are among the longest lived people in the world. She's an example. Now, Rosella has finished the sfoglia, and Martina wants to see if it's transparent enough for her cappellacci. How'd it come out, Martina? Va bene?
Va bene, va bene. Per i
Rosella,
cappellacci. No,
it can't be too fine for the cappellacci, or the dough will tear as she fills it. Now, look at, she's going to make all the forms of the big cappellacci is really big, ugly hats. But there's nothing ugly about them at all. They're really quite beautiful. These are going to be filled by Martina. Martina, can we call the cappellacci a tortelloni or not
Anche tortelloni,
really?
sì,
Also
sì.
tortelloni.
Sì, sì, è la stessa, sono due parole ma il significato è lo stesso. Bene,
Two
io
different
intanto
words for the same. And Martina is going to work over here, and she is going to put in the filling. Now, here is her filling of the purple potato filling. Did you make the bag, the plastic bag, Martina? Did you make this yourself?
cioè, sono
It's kind of your invention?
no, sono degli strumenti appositi
No,
per
it's a
fare
particular instrument that's used to fill the cappellacci.
questo. Una volta messo il ripieno bagniamo leggermente i bordi.
Now she's lightly dampening the borders. Is that with butter? What are you using?
No, è acqua.
Water, just water. And that makes it easier to fold.
Prima facciamo una mezzaluna,
She's making a half moon.
poi prendiamo i due angoli e li andiamo a chiudere.
And then she closes the two corners. And there's our ugly little hat, which I think is a beautiful little hat. The cappellacci. How old were you the first time you helped make tortellini? Do you have any idea?
Ma diciamo che quando mi sono buttata all'interno della cucina mi è venuto tutto spontaneo, cioè da quando ho iniziato a lavorare in cucina ho iniziato a fare la pasta ripiena.
So she doesn't remember exactly, but she said as soon as I entered this kitchen, I started helping making homemade pasta, inventing new
Sì,
recipes too.
Diciamo che io inizialmente sono partita con la pasticceria, poi mi sono appassionata anche al salato.
She said my first passion was really pastries, the sweet side of the cooking. But then I became very interested in what's called in Italian il salato. That is the salty one, that is the savory foods or the non-sweet ones. Now, Martina is doing a nice demonstration for us of the delicious pasta dish she will be making for 40 people in about a week. And she told me that they'll have just a few of these because they're having a second portion of pasta as part of this baptismal banquet. So they'll be having an antipasto, 2 types of pasta, probably 2 second courses.
Sì, un arrosto misto dalla brace.
Mixed roast, and then all sorts of vegetables as well, and desserts. So this is a sample of a single portion.
Sì.
And each single portion will have the guanciale, pork cheek,
sì, i cappellacci con le patate viola,
the cappellacci with the purple potatoes, which she made for us.
Prima cosa andremo a mettere in cottura i cappellacci.
Martina, a question. She's going to put them in to cook. I noticed that you're going to lift them in. Why can't you just slide the dish in? She said the reason she was going to pick them up with this is so the water wouldn't splash. I said, well, let's see this trick. Go ahead. I see no splashing water coming over us. And she's already salted the water with sale grosso. QB, don't forget. Quanto basta, as much as it needs.
Okay. Nel frattempo che i cappellacci cuociono mettiamo a incroccantire il guanciale, padella bella rovente.
While they're cooking, she is going to render this crispy in a nice hot frying pan. Obviously no fat needed because there's the fat in the meat, right? And this guanciale they have in their little alimentari grocery store, attached to the dining room and attached to the coffee bar. So at Giovannino's you can drop in for a cafe in the morning with cakes made by Martina and her mother, or you can drop in for a prosciutto sandwich and a glass of local vino rosso, or you can come in the evening for dinner. And lunch on Sundays.
Ok, questo è pronto, quando diventa bello dorato e croccante.
And have a look at this. Let's zoom in a bit, and we can see that it's nice and crispy and golden. Okay. She's setting that aside.
Adesso prendiamo il burro con il timo.
Now this is the butter.
Già sciolto.
And she's added the herb thyme to it, called timo in Italian. And the timo is already in this butter. How do you know when they're cooked? Come sai quando sono cotti? C'è un
Solitamente
segno?
la pasta fresca in 5 minuti è pronta, ma anche meno.
Okay.
Ma non lo so, io ormai l'abitudine lo vedo. Inizialmente assaggiavo, adesso lo vedo dal colore della pasta.
She said usually 4 or 5 minutes. She said in the beginning I really wasn't sure and I'd have to taste one. Now, looking at the pasta, the cappellacci, I sort of know by the color when they're cooked.
Quando inizia proprio a schiarire, vedi quanto sta diventando.
In fact, they're starting to become a lighter yellow.
Guarda quanto sono cresciuti.
And they've grown too with the cooking, expanded. Gonfiati, but not
Sì,
even
si gonfia,
gonfiati.
sì.
It's the potatoes also. They're cooking and the cappellacci are swelling up. Yes, we can see, I don't know if you can see in the pot, but this is a much lighter yellow than when they were when they hit the water. So they're almost ready.
Sì. Li
And
spostiamo
into
sulla
the
padella.
butter with thyme. But when you're cooking these for 30 or 40 people, you're not taking them out one by one.
No, abbiamo
Uno per
questi,
uno.
i cesti grandi.
They
che
have the huge,
hanno i manici.
they have the huge baskets here, these strainers here, when she's cooking for many, many people, of course. But this is a special demonstration for us. Mamma mia, c'è il profumo. There's already, you can just smell a bit the thyme. It's a profumo, the butter and the thyme together.
E siamo pronti, adesso ve in piatto e così assaggiate.
Okay, and what about the bacon? When is that going, the guanciale? I mean,
Sopra.
the pork cheek. It's
Lo
going to
mettiamo
be
sopra.
on top on
Sì.
the plate. Oh, okay, so she's going to show us when it's ready for serving. Grazie. On the plate, putting them all on the plate. You know, I don't know. Italian food is culinary poetry. You've at how beautifully she just lines them up. Oh, this is important, isn't it? Just seeing visually.
Questo, poi ci mettiamo questi qua.
She has a little bit of culinary adornment here. This is thyme.
Timo?
See little branches of thyme?
Sì. E qualcosa qualche fogliolino per decorare.
She's just putting some other culinary leaves on to decorate it. You see these decorations? They're edible. Using a little form, Martina made them, and they're parmigiano, uova, farina. So after they eat, and butter, after they eat the cappellacci, they can nibble the decorations. Incredibile. And you're going to do 30 dishes like that?
Sì.
Mamma mia. But Martina, will you be able to serve 30 dishes hot?
Perché
that's the
praticamente
trick.
rimangono in piatti uno ad uno, quindi rimangono nella padella caldi
Okay.
prima e poi a mano che sono pronti vengono portati in sala.
Okay, you're going to take them
Rimangono
out one
comunque-
at a time.
Sì.
Absolutely beautiful. And there's no Parmesan on top
No,
because
perché-
Parmesan is in
Yeah.
the mixture. The Parmesan is in the potato mixture.
Il piatto è finito.
Bellissimo. Allora, this is, hold it up Martina, let's see you with your gorgeous dish. Isn't that something?
Buon appetito!
Grazie.